بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ومن اتبع هداه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, though He imposed and prescribed for us the fast of Ramadan, which is He made obligatory upon every Muslim, but He also prescribed for us other days to fast. And upon the tongue of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because fast is the most beautiful act of worship. And not only that, it is the sincerest acts of worship. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala singled it out for Himself. And He said, As-siyamu li. Why? All the acts of worship are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why in particular? Why in particular the fast? Because it is the sincerest act. That's why you find a Muslim is very, very concerned about it. If, for instance, he swallowed his saliva, he would come to the Shaykh, is my fast okay? And not only that, if he's hungry or thirsty, and he is alone, he can go and open the fridge and have a sip of water. But he will never do this because Allah is watching him. So that's why the siyam is the sincerest acts of ibadah, of worship. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala singled it out. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also allowed us, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has recommended that we fast certain days. For instance, we fast the Monday and Thursday on a weekly basis. We fast the 13th and 14th and 15th of every lunar month, and that's we call them al-ayyam al-bid, or the white days. And also we fast Ashura, and we fast the day of Arafah. So there are certain days. And not only that, he also recommended us to fast one day yes, one day not, one alternate day. And this is the fast of Dawood alayhi salam. He said this is the best fast. The best fast is the fast of David. He used to fast one day and break the next day. So fast is recommended. So we should not kiss goodbye to the fast after Ramadan. So inshallah we should carry on observing fast, because this purifies the soul. It removes and eradicates and uproots all these evils within the human being, and it gives the soul a chance to fly and to be in the upper assembly. And also among these fasts is the fast of Shawwal, or fasting the 6 days of Shawwal, which is begins after the Eid. And the Prophet ﷺ, he recommended that in the hadith, which is reported by Imam Muslim in his Sahih, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, and Abu Dawood, and Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, where the Abu Ayyub radiyallahu anhu reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan and then follows it by fasting 6 days during the month of Shawwal will be rewarded as if he had fasted the entire year. The entire year. Because we know, brothers and sisters, that every day, which is the month is 30 days, and every day is multiplied by 10, that is 300, but the year is also 360 days. So the 6 days also multiplied by 10, 60 days, so this is the total, the whole of the year. So here the Prophet ﷺ has recommended the fast of Shawwal. And he said that you fast the month of Shawwal, and if you fast the 6 days of Shawwal, this will be equivalent as if you have fasted the whole year. And there are certain rulings related to this issue. For instance, these days, should they be continuously, or they can be fasted separately? Of course, the answer, they can be fasted separately, not necessarily that they should be in a continuous form. Because the hadith says, Man sama Ramadana wa atba'u sittan min Shawwal. Min. This is the key word. Min. From. He didn't say that it should be continuous. No. He said, as long as it is it is within the month of Shawwal, it's all right. As long, inshaAllah, may Allah increase our knowledge in His deen. As long as it is within the 6 days, the month of Shawwal, it is all right. So it is not necessarily a necessity to fast them continuously. But there is a key word here we need to shed light. We need to shed light upon, which is the hadith, whoever fasts Ramadan, man sama Ramadana, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan, man sama Ramadana. So now we ask the question, if one, for one reason or another, he broke the fast, maybe he's sick, he was a traveler, a woman, she got her period, and then she finished Ramadan. Now we ask the question, did she fast Ramadan? You understand? Did she fast Ramadan? No. She didn't complete Ramadan. She fasted part of Ramadan. And the hadith says, Man sama Ramadan. The one who completed Ramadan. Because Ramadan is not for part of it. It is for the whole month. So in order for this hadith to be implemented, what a Muslim should do. That's why the real gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He loves someone, He gives him the understanding of the deen. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, Man yuridillahu bihi khayra, yufaqihu fi din. The one whom Allah loves, not the one who gives him money or wealth, no. Is the one that Allah gives him the profound knowledge in the deen. The fiqh, the deep understanding of the deen. And when the Prophet ﷺ, he prayed for Ibn Abbas. Why did he pray for Ibn Abbas? Because he was in the toilet, the Prophet ﷺ. And Ibn Abbas, he went and he fetched the water and made the water ready for the Prophet ﷺ. So when the Prophet ﷺ came out, he found the water. So he said, Allahumma faqihhu fi d-din wa allimhu ta'wil. Oh Allah, give him the understanding and the deep understanding of the deen and the interpretation and the tafsir of the Quran. That's why Ibn Abbas is known as the Turjuman al-Quran, or the interpreter of the Quran, because of this dua that the Prophet ﷺ made for him. So here in this hadith, he said, Man sama Ramadan. So if I want to fast the 6 days of Shawwal, what should I do, brothers and sisters? I should complete Ramadan. I should complete Ramadan first. So then this hadith can be applied to me. But if I didn't complete Ramadan, then I started fasting the 6 days of Shawwal. That means I am fasting the Sunnah, I'm leaving the Fard. And this shows what? Understanding or lack of understanding? Lack of understanding, of course. If you have the fiqh, because for instance, let's say that you died and you haven't made up these days. That is a debt in your neck. That is a debt in your neck. And that debt has to be paid. That's why your children should fast on your behalf. As the Prophet ﷺ said, Man mata wa alayhi siyamun sama anhu waliyuhu. So whoever passed away, whoever dies, and he has days that he didn't fast, the inheritors, the heirs, the inheritors should make up these days. So you are actually putting a burden on your children. So first of all, clear your debt. That means fast, make up the days that you missed, and then try to fast the 6 days. Why I mention this in particular? Because this is a global question, and it is a common thing among all the Muslim women. all the Muslim women across the globe. That's why it is a universal, global situation. Always they will fast the 6 days of Shawwal. They would fast the 6 days of Shawwal. Then they will make up the days that they missed. And that's why some of them even just until the second Ramadan. And that's why they would call the Mashayikh and the Mufti, what should I do? Ramadan is now, tomorrow, and I have days I haven't fasted them. You see, the whole year she was procrastinating and delaying it until the second Ramadan comes. And the problem that the Muslim sisters, they argue as well. It's not easy to defeat them. They would argue with you. And they said, Aisha radiallahu anha, well, the only month she could manage to fast is in Sha'ban. So why you men and you mashayikh, you want to force us poor women to fast on to make up our days within Shawwal? When Aisha was making up these days during Sha'ban. But they forgot, or they pretend that they don't know. Okay? That Aisha, she gave the reason. Aisha gave the reason why she used to delay the making up of the days until Sha'ban. He said, وَذَلِكَ لِمَكَانَةِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. Because I was busy with him. Always in his service. Always on my toes, serving the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam could ask me at any time. You know what I mean? Could ask me at any time. So I should be ready. But when Sha'ban comes, that's when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam fasts. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to fast most of Sha'ban. So she finds it a chance for her to make up for her days. But now we ask our sisters, frankly, I want you to admit this fact, are you always on your toes to serve your husbands? Are you? So why are you using this flimsy excuse? So please, sisters, may Allah increase our knowledge and your knowledge in the deen. Please do not delay making up your days. So please immediately clear your debt, fast the fard first, then try to catch the rest of the days of Shawwal. That's the best thing, and this reflects and this indicates your understanding and the matured understanding of the spirit of this deen. And the closest and the best deed that will bring you closer to Allah is what? The fard. The fard before the sunnah. The best deed that will bring you closer to Allah is the fard before the sunnah. وَمَا تَقَرَّبَ إِلَيَّ عَبْدِي بِشَيْءٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا افْتَرَضْتُهُ عَلَيْهِ. So the best thing that Allah loves you to that will bring you closer to Allah is the performance of the furud, the obligatory acts. Then the optional ones or the recommended ones or the sunans. And regarding, as I said, the continuation, that should be this day fast performed continuously or separately. We said it can be this or that, but also the scholars, they say the sooner the better. And alhamdulillah, you find many Muslims throughout the Muslim world, the second day of Eid, they start fasting. And after 6 days, they're already. Why? Because you are still with the eager and the vigor and the eagerness. So you are still close to Ramadan, so it is easy for you. Because then the shaitan will keep you procrastinate, delay, tomorrow, and then the month is over and you haven't finished Shawwal. So the sooner, the better. This is the best thing. And because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in His book, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. So compete in good deeds. So when things are related to the khair, to the good, we should not delay it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضَهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَعِدَّةٍ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And march forth in the way which holds to forgiveness from your Lord and the Jannah. That Jannah, which is so vast, so wide. What is there in the Jannah, no one can imagine, brothers and sisters. The palaces of the Jannah, brothers and sisters, are made, one brick gold and another brick is silver. These are the palaces in the Jannah. The soil of the Jannah is made of musk. And on top of this, seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the real joy. That's the real pleasure when you are in the Jannah and you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as we said, the sooner the better. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَعَجِلْتُ إِلَيْكَ رَبِّي لِتَرْضَى. That Musa alayhi salam, he hastened to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he said, oh my Lord, that you might be pleased. That's why I came running to you. But he didn't know what happened to his people by the Samiri. So may Allah increase our knowledge in His deen, and unite our hearts upon the truth, and increase the love of the Sunnah and the love of the deen in our hearts. And now, inshallah, we are going to open the floor for questions. So we are going, inshallah, to entertain a few questions related to this topic. So please don't feel hesitant. Yes, brother.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Please, Sheikh, can a Muslim woman first fast Shawwal, then make up the days missed in Ramadan?
Okay, Jazakallah khair. I think this question I answered within, but there is no harm to just repeat what I said. The best thing that you fast the fard first, the days that you missed, and then you fast the days of Shawwal. But now, if one woman did that, is she sinful? No, she is not sinful. She is not sinful, because especially some scholars, they allow them, and they say yes, because they say Shawwal is only 1 month, and the period is limited. So, and then you have, there is a room and flexibility based on the hadith of Aisha. So some scholars, they give such verdicts and such fatwas to the women, so they act upon that. But here we are teaching them the proper method and the most accurate way they should handle it. And also there is something I forgot to mention. Can we combine the intentions? Which means, can a woman combine the intention that these 6 days, the days that she missed, and Shawwal as well? We say, no, don't do that. These are separate ibadas. This is separate acts of worship, so you don't combine these 6 days and with the intention of also clearing your debt. Next question, please. Yes.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You know, sir, that fasting during the 6 days that are to be fasted during the month of Shawwal has a very special merit, being that related to fasting of the month of Ramadan itself. But what about the other acts of worship during the 6 days themselves? Yeah, do they have any merit concerning the reward?
All right, okay. In other words, during the 6 days of Shawwal, when a person is fasting, the deeds, if I got your question correct, and correct me if I didn't get it, if a person is doing other deeds, is there these deeds are peculiar, or they have virtue or merit because of month of Shawwal?
Yes.
Okay. The answer, we don't have any explicit evidence and specific evidence regarding this, to my humble knowledge. So there isn't any specific evidence that says, for instance, to pray night prayer on these 6 days, it has this reward, for instance, or this uniqueness, or this peculiarity. But in general, if we go just to the adilla amma, the general principles, of course a person, when he is doing good deeds, and then also all the deeds that he's doing when he is fasting, for instance, these deeds, inshallah, the likelihood of their acceptance is high. No doubt about this. The likelihood of their acceptance is high. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, the reason he used to fast Monday and Thursday, because he said the deeds, the a'mal, the deeds of the people are raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so I want my deeds to be raised while I am fasting. While I am fasting. And Allah knows best. And any question? Yes?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think you said before that if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife during the daytime of Ramadan, so he has to fast for 2 consecutive months. So what about if a man breaks his fast by eating or drinking, and then he has to make up for these days after Ramadan, but on one of these days he has a sexual intercourse? Has he to fast for 2 months, or to make up only for this day?
Okay. The answer briefly that of course Muslims, they should not do this. It is a sin. And what I would say that if the person, for instance, he was not fasting, and he was, for instance, coming from a journey, and his wife just got, she was clean from her period, and she took a shower. Can they make love during the day of Ramadan? Yes, they can, because both of them are not obliged to fast. But apart from that, Muslims should avoid this, and may Allah accept our deeds and your deeds, and may Allah, inshallah, reward all of you, inshallah, and accept your fast and your standing in front of Him. Until we see you, inshallah, in another series, inshallah, of talks. May Allah reward all of you. Astawdi'ukum Allah.